Have you ever met people who blame their messy room on invisible tornadoes? Or kids who insist their homework disappeared into a magical black hole? What about someone who claims their little sister ate their vegetables when she was at grandma's house all day? Or maybe you know a kid who says the dog broke the vase, even though the family doesn't have a dog. Well, let me tell you about Nader, the master of making excuses. Nader was 8 years old and had a special talent. He could come up with an excuse for absolutely anything. When he forgot his lunch, he told his teacher that aliens had stolen it from his backpack. When he tracked mud through the house, he explained to his mom that the mud had followed him home like a lost puppy. And when he accidentally broke his friend Sam's toy robot, Nader insisted that the toy had simply decided to take itself apart to see how it worked. "It's not my fault," was Nader's favorite phrase, and he used it more often than most kids say please and thank you combined. At school, when Mrs. Peterson asked why his math homework was crumpled and covered in what looked suspiciously like grape jelly, Nader explained, "A purple monster attacked my backpack last night, Mrs. Peterson. I fought him off, but some of his purple goo got on my homework." Mrs. Peterson raised one eyebrow and said, "Nader, that looks like grape jelly." At first, everyone thought Nader's wild excuses were pretty entertaining. His little sister Layla would giggle when he blamed the cat for eating his broccoli, even though Whiskers was clearly a very sensible cat who preferred tuna. His parents would sometimes smile and shake their heads at his creative explanations. But after a while, something started to change. When Nader promised to help his friend Nazanin with her science project and then didn't show up, he told her that he'd been kidnapped by time-traveling pirates. At lunch, he accidentally knocked over Sam's juice box and then claimed that an earthquake had struck only their table. Sam sighed and moved to sit somewhere else. "You never say you're sorry, do you?" Sam muttered. Even Nader's parents looked exasperated when he insisted his chores were unfinished because the vacuum cleaner had run off to join the circus as the star performer. "Nader," his dad said gently, "we need to have a serious talk." But before they could talk, something very strange happened. When he peeked through the curtains, he saw a raccoon sitting on the fire escape. Hello?" Nader said, sliding the window open. "Are you lost?" "Not at all," the raccoon replied, in a voice like crackling leaves. "I'm exactly where I need to be. My name is Cornelius, and I'm what you might call a responsibility raccoon. I help young humans learn about the consequences of their choices." Nader blinked. "Are you here because of my purple monster story?" Cornelius chuckled. "Oh, I'm here because of all your stories, young man. Tell me, have you ever wondered what the world looks like from inside your excuses?" Before Nader could answer, Cornelius pulled out what looked like a pair of magical binoculars from his vest pocket. "Put these on," he said. "They're called truth-seeing spectacles." The moment Nader put on the spectacles, the world around him shimmered and changed. Suddenly, he could see things he'd never noticed before. He saw Emma sitting alone in her room, trying to build her science project with tears in her eyes because she didn't understand the instructions and had no one to help her. He saw Sam eating lunch by himself, looking sad and lonely. He saw his parents staying up late, worried and talking in hushed voices about why their son wouldn't tell them the truth. "But wait," Nader said, "I was just trying to have fun and make others laugh." "Take a closer look," the raccoon said softly. Through the spectacles, Nader could see something else, invisible threads connecting him to all the people in his life. Every time he made an excuse instead of taking responsibility, one of the threads grew a little dimmer. Some threads had become so faded they were barely visible at all. "Those threads," Raccoon explained, "are called trust. When people can count on you to tell the truth and take responsibility for your actions, the threads stay bright and strong. But when you keep making excuses, it becomes a habit that's hard to break." Nader watched as another thread, the one connecting him to his teacher, Mrs. Peterson, flickered and dimmed. "I didn't know," Nader whispered. "I didn't know it was hurting anyone." "The good news," Raccoon said with a warm smile, "is that trust threads can be repaired and made even stronger than before. Want to see how?" Raccoon handed Nader a small glowing pebble and said, "This is a responsibility stone. When you hold it and take genuine responsibility for something you've done, watch what happens." "I should have helped Emma like I promised," he said out loud. "It was my fault that she had to do it alone, and that must have been really hard for her." The stone glowed brighter, and through the spectacles, Nader saw the thread connecting him to Emma begin to sparkle with tiny golden lights. "Now," Raccoon said, "comes the most important part. Saying you're responsible is only the beginning. What are you going to do to make things right? Remember, honesty is the core of trust." The next day at school, Nader found Nazanin at her locker. His heart was beating fast, but he remembered the warm glow of the responsibility stone. "Nazanin," he said, "I owe you an apology. There weren't any time-traveling pirates. I just forgot about helping you with your science project, and then I was too embarrassed to admit it. I'm really sorry." Nazanin looked surprised. "Oh, well, thank you for telling me the truth. I know your project is already done," Nader continued, "but maybe I could help you practice your presentation or help you make it even better." Nazanin's face lit up. "Actually, that would be really helpful. I'm still nervous about presenting it to the class." When Nader found Sam at lunch, he took a deep breath. He walked to him and said, "Sam, I'm sorry I knocked over your juice box and then made up that silly story about an earthquake. I was clumsy, and I should have just said sorry and helped you clean it up instead of pretending it wasn't my fault." Sam looked at him thoughtfully and answered, "Thanks for saying that. Let's sit together again." That evening, Nader sat down with his parents, and before they could even bring up the serious talk, he said, "Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something. The vacuum cleaner didn't run away to join the circus. I just forgot to vacuum my room, and I was embarrassed. I'm sorry for not doing my chores and for making up silly excuses instead of just being honest." His parents exchanged a look of surprise, along with pride. "We're proud of you for being honest. Now, how about we tackle that room together?" That night, Cornelius appeared at Nader's window again. "How did it feel?" the wise raccoon asked. "Scary at first," Nader admitted, "but then really good, like a heavy backpack had been taken off my shoulders." The wise raccoon had handed him the truth-seeing spectacles. "When you take responsibility," Raccoon explained, "you're not just admitting you made a mistake, you're showing people that they can trust you, because you're brave enough to do the right thing even when it's hard. The difference is, now you know that taking responsibility makes you stronger, not weaker. It makes you more popular every time. From that day forward, Nader discovered that taking responsibility was like a superpower. When he accidentally knocked over his art supplies, he'd say to his teacher, "I'm sorry, Mrs. Peterson, I was rushing and knocked these over. Let me clean them up." She smiled and said, "Thank you for being honest." When he forgot to feed Whiskers, he would admit it to his parents instead of claiming the cat had learned to open her own food cans. His parents appreciated his honesty and simply reminded him to set a phone alarm for feeding time. His friends began to trust him more. Emma invited him to work on another project together. Sam saved him a seat at lunch every day. Even his little sister Layla said, "You're more fun to play with when you don't blame everything on invisible monsters." One night, a few weeks later, Nader looked out his window hoping to thank the wise raccoon when he came to visit. But the wise raccoon was nowhere to be seen. Instead, there was a small note tucked under his window that said, "Dear Nader, the magic of honesty was inside you all along. Remember, courage isn't about never making mistakes, it's about owning up to them and making things right. Keep those trust threads golden. Your friend, Raccoon. P.S. The responsibility stone is yours to keep, but you'll find you don't need it anymore." Nader had learned that taking responsibility wasn't about being perfect. It was about being brave enough to admit when he was wrong, caring enough to make things right, and being trustworthy enough that the people he loved could count on him. And the best part? His honesty started to inspire others too. Soon, their whole class was known for being the most honest and helpful group in the school. Mrs. Peterson would beam with pride and tell other teachers, "These kids have learned that taking responsibility is a superpower." As for Nader, he discovered that "it's my fault, and here's how I'll fix it" had become his favorite words to say.
I used to paint a smile each day, hide the truth and fade away. The world applauded who I seemed, but deep inside I lost my dream. Every lie became a chain, every mask just brought me pain, till I whispered to the skies, "I'm done living behind disguise." So be true, even when it's hard to be. The truth will always set you free. Don't be scared of what they'll see. Your light shines bright in honesty. I've made mistakes, I've lost my way, but learned to like and guide each day. It's not the ones who never fall, it's those who rise that stand so tall. Every tear became my guide, each broken piece I wear with pride. So be true, even when it's hard to be. The truth will always set you free. Stand tall, let the real you show. You're stronger more than you'll ever know. You don't need perfect to be brave. You don't need saving to be saved. Your heart was made to beat out loud. So wear your truth and make it proud.
Honesty is the first chapter in the mind of the wise. Without honesty, love and trust cannot survive. Hey friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, share it with your besties, and subscribe to Quantum Sage Kids to join the wisest minds on the planet. Because here at Quantum Sage Kids, 1. We share stories that teach compassion and kindness. 2. We inspire young minds, because we believe you are the future, and every video is designed to help each of you grow into the light this world needs. 3. Together, we learn, love, and shine brighter every day.